Welcome to What's the F?
What's happening? Yes. You're on mute.
I am.
Oh, no, you're not. I took you off.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our premiere episode of What the Effie. We're here to get effing real about the challenges and struggles on the journey to success in real estate and where there's no effing question off limits. First, to our audience, I say thank you for your support. And please put some fire in the chat if you're ready to meet our first guest, the self-made entrepreneur who has over 100 businesses and probably has more properties. And this man will one day be a billionaire, the one and only Abraham Gray. Throw some fire for him, folks.
What's up, Effie? What the Effie did you get yourself into on this podcast?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Thank you very much for being here, Abraham. You're $1.50.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you so much. Before we jump right into the questions, I'd like to see who we have in our audience today. Please, if you know who our guest, Abraham Gray, is, please put a 2 in the chat. All right. Abraham, I know you made your first million in baseball cards and your first 10 million in Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
So you had to have been pretty young when you started.
Really?
How young were you?
So I started the baseball card business or sports card business when I was 15.
Wow, that is young.
Yeah.
Young. And to come into that kind of money is pretty young too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what made you decide that, I'm going to make $1 million? Or did you even have that?
No, I mean, I had no clue where the hell it was going to take me. I was just doing it to make a little bit of money. I was having fun doing it. And then, I was okay at it in the beginning, but I got better and better. And, as I got better and better, I'm like, oh shit, I can make $100,000. I can make a few $100,000. I can make $500,000. I can make $1 million. And then, eventually millions. And I mean, you don't really know, especially at that age, you don't know that you could turn it into something really big. So it was kind of cool to see that, how I progressed, from year to year. Every year I'd double what I made the year before. So,
wow.
And then eventually I was like, you know what, I could do this with other stuff, not just cards.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then, during those early years, the BBB days, I like to call them baseball and Beanie Baby days.
Yeah.
What was your biggest challenge? You had to have had some challenges.
Yeah. You always have challenges. You just don't know what you don't know. Right. So, I was really young, so people didn't respect you as much being young and not doing it, but not doing it before. But challenges, coming up with money, the same challenges everybody has. Like, I didn't have really much money when I started, so there were deals I knew I could buy and make a lot of money on, but I didn't have enough money to buy it, when I was 15 or 16, So
how'd you overcome that?
Yeah, so I had to figure out ways to basically talk other people that had money into investing in me, and what I did was, I built like a lot of friends, a lot of followers, people that saw that I was doing well. And I went over to these people that had the money. I'm like, look, I could grow my business a lot faster if you could help me, fund some of my deals, and I could pay you, a good interest rate, or I could give you a percent of the profit, or, I had to figure out what was interesting to them. But basically I gave them enough collateral to where they felt comfortable with getting the money back. And then, I did a few deals. We started off smaller. We both made money, and we kept getting to bigger and bigger deals. And I had a couple people that I was able to do that with. And then, eventually, as I made more money, I was able to buy bigger deals myself, and then bigger deals with them. And the more they trusted me, the more they'd invest into me.
Great. I'm so glad that you did that. I have a question from Robin, and it's actually one I want to know too. Was there ever a moment of clarity when you were that young, that served you to kind of understand where your life was going?
Yeah. I had like a crazy life when I was younger, because I never really grew up with like parents, my parents got divorced when I was really young. so I lived with my mom throughout, like, up until 8, 9 years old. Then I moved in with my dad, and he, at that point he was remarried, so I had a stepmom. And I lived with them for a couple years, but I was a really bad kid. I never got along with anyone. Like, I was just
Wait. Kids aren't bad.
I was bad.
How bad?
I was real bad.
No, I was bad too.
I got suspended from school like every single week or two. I got expelled from like 3 or 4 schools. So like it was a big problem. Yeah, I was like a class clown, and I'd get into fights and stuff like that. But yeah, so my whole life like that. And then I was so bad. Then after my dad, I ended up moving from foster family to foster family because I just couldn't stay with anyone. And I lived with like multiple foster families, and then those didn't work out. I ended up going to a boarding school for kids that like basically didn't, were troublemakers. And I was there for like a year. And then when I left there, I went to a few more foster families. And then eventually I ended up moving to Atlanta to live with my grandmother. So I moved in with my grandmother, and that's kind of like when, I started the business when I was 15. And I collected sports cards my whole life, so I turned that into a business. But as soon as I started seeing that, like, I was able to make my own money, and I had some skills that were actually useful, and I got better at it. I was like, you know what? I see a path. I see a path that I could take to make my life good. And I just got better and better at it. And I literally was really bad even when I was 15, 16, 17. And I did a lot of stuff that was good, but I also did a lot of stuff that was bad. And I almost could have went into 2 directions at that point. Like I could have got to the direction where I'm at now, where I was super successful, made a lot of money, and a good person. Or I could have almost went the other way and been dead or in jail. And luckily, it was just a matter of, I had a couple different crowds I hung out with, and I ended up, going to the crowd that was more positive and more entrepreneurial and more then I got closer with them, and then, I got everybody else out of my life. And that's when that clarity came. Like, look, you could use your knowledge and your creativity to do really good or really bad, but what makes more sense, and where do you want to see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And when you really sit down, think about that, and are by yourself, and that's where you see, look, this is where you need to go.
I got it.
You want to know something cool? You want to know something? Something cool. So people always ask me, tell me something unique about you. And I always forget to tell them this. I don't think I've ever said this before. So like in any podcast or any like interviews or anything else. So one cool fact about me, I figure I might as well tell it on yours, because what the F, I might as well say it on somebody's, right? So all of my kids were named after a different business I have. So all my kids are named after their business. I've never told anyone that, like, on a thing. My friends know that, but like no. So that's just something unique and cool. So my first business was sports cars, but my second business, as you said, was Beanie Babies. So my oldest kid is named Ty, right? His name's Ty, because Beanie Babies are made by Ty Warner. They're Ty Beanie Babies. So that's how my oldest son got his name, Ty.
Nice.
And then my business where I made the most money, right, the $100 million business, was jewelry business. And I bought so much gold and diamonds and coins and all kinds of other stuff. But any gold or silver or platinum that you buy, any metals that you buy, they're all measured in troy ounces, right? Like a regular ounce is like what you measure like liquid or stuff in the kitchen. But when you're talking about metal, it's measured in troy ounces. So my second son I was in the gold business. I named him Troy after troy ounces. And
I like that, especially being of Greek origin. I approve. I approve.
You approve. And then, so those are my first 2 kids. They were both boys. My third kid was a girl, and my wife was like, I want you to name all the boys, but I got to name the girl. So I was like, all right, whatever. I kind of want to stick to like my business stuff, but whatever. So she's like, well, the first 2 boys are named Ty and Troy, which are both start with a T. She's like, I want like a T name. I was like, all right, whatever. But I was like, let me name her, at least the middle name. So I got to name my daughter's middle name, which is basically similar to one of the businesses I'm in. But like the first name, she just named because my wife liked that name. It wasn't really after anything, but she kept with the T's. But her middle name.
What is her name?
Ty, Troy, and Tia.
That's
but nice. But her middle name is Melly, like Melee. And I was big in the diamond business. And when you have a whole bunch of stones, they're called melly. When you have a whole bunch of diamonds, or a whole bunch of rubies, a whole bunch of sapphires, and you have all these stones together, they're called, I have a whole lot of melly. So I named her after the jewelry business. So
Cool.
that's kind of how, yeah, what the F, you jumped out of a plane. That was crazy. That was crazy. Like, let me like when you jumped out of that plane, when did you find out that we're going skydiving? How many days before we actually?
That was at your podcast the night. Was it the night before? 2 nights before?
That was Pace's podcast, not mine.
Yeah, Pace's podcast. That was at the Pace's podcast.
So that's when you found out that we're going skydiving the next day.
Yes.
Did you ever think you were going to go skydiving?
Yes, it was on my bucket list.
So
that was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going now. But look, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you.
But people are bringing that up, and that's pretty cool. We did it together.
Stop paying attention, okay, to me.
Okay.
Abraham. All right. So before I bring us into current day, I want one more question towards youth, and that is for today's youngsters, because we have some young people in Sub2 and in the world itself, who want to start in business. What advice would you give them?
I mean, what I would do is, whether you start a business, whether you start real estate, I would tell them to find other people that are doing what you want to do and learn from them. And basically, find someone that has gotten to a point where you want to get to, and potentially even work for them, even for free or for a small amount or whatever, and learn as you work for them, and don't expect anything in return. And then what happens is, that's how they're going to actually do a whole lot for you. But of course, besides that, go onto YouTube, watch all the different types of videos of people that talk about it. Potentially, if you have extra money, go to some masterminds or join a mentorship that talks about real estate or business or whatever it is that you want to learn, right? I actually have bought more mentorships than anybody probably almost everyone put together. Like, I'm actually in so many, it's ridiculous. And really every single topic. Obviously I'm in a lot of real estate ones, business ones, but I'm in like social media ones. I'm in ones how to grow your YouTube. I'm in all kinds of SEO, how to grow your marketing. I'm in paid ad ones. I'm in
paid ad mentorships. Wow.
That teaches you how to maximize your money. I'm in an SEO one that teaches you how to. So it's very interesting. Instead of like buying businesses and buying real estate, I'm in one that teaches you how to buy domain names and make a lot of money on them. So basically, what you do is you start a domain and you advertise it, and then people come to you. And what you do is, as you get all these customers, you sell them. You sell basically the customers to other businesses in the area, and you make it's basically like renting your website to other people. But like, they teach you how to build it to where you're like the top 1 or 2 or 3 when people do Google searches. So, but anyway, I'm in like a million. I'm in like gyms, how to grow gyms. Really anything that I want to learn how to do.
Yeah. Physical. Yep. Interesting. That's awesome. Okay. So I'm going to jump us into today, these current days, and I'm going to ask some questions that were brought to me. So Julie V wants to ask, which top 3 businesses are you looking at in today's market?
So again, everyone should look at something a little bit different based on like what you are good at, or what you have knowledge in, or what you enjoy doing. I'm pretty much focused on a few particular things right now. I don't know that what I'm focused on is necessarily good for everybody, but I'm big into entertainment. So I just got really big into it like 6-7 years ago. I never really had entertainment stuff until then, but I really enjoy it. It's fun. And then wherever I go, I could take a whole bunch of friends to all different concepts I have. So I'm always, and I love thinking of new creative entertainment concepps to do. So I'm always like tweaking stuff that exists, but making it better, or I'm coming up with stuff that's never existed before. I have a few new concepts in the works. But on top of that, I just look for deals that I don't really care exactly what the industry is, but where there's motivated sellers that want to sell, they're cash flowing really good, minimum 6 figures, and basically work deals and buy these types of businesses, and then grow those businesses by buying competitors and similar businesses. That's my favorite thing. I love owning businesses and buying all the competitors and stuff out, because it's worth so much more to you than it is to other people, because you could like exponentially grow your own business by buying them way more than if you never were in that industry and just buying it and having the first business be that. But those are my top things that I do, and I have I actually am buying a lot of businesses this first quarter. So I bought a cleaning service with three people actually that came to some of my masterminds. We're partners, the four of us.
Nice.
And I have bought I started that Putt Nation, really cool entertainment concept with kitchen, bar, alcohol, all that. That started last month. This month I'm closing on.
Are you going to take that Pod Nation nationwide?
Yeah, so this is what I do. So I love to go out and buy shopping centers in good areas and just try a whole bunch of concepts. And what I do is I do that so I could test the concept out. If it does good, my plan is to grow it all over the country and open locations all over the place. If it doesn't do good, then I either tweak it or just put another concept in that space. And that's why I like owning the shopping centers, because if you're leasing space, then you're kind of restricted more to be able to do that. And if something doesn't work out, you have but yeah, so most of my businesses are in shopping centers I bought, like even in other states. So in Tampa, we went to one of my businesses there. I own that shopping center as well. But yeah, my plan is to grow. So this particular business, I want to make sure that it does well for like 4 months, 6 months before I expand, because this was one of the most expensive ones that I've actually done. But yeah, if it does
good. Are you talking about the Pod Nation?
Putt Nation, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
That was a real expensive.
Just want to be clear on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why is it one of the most expensive?
So it's the first one I have a full kitchen and bar, and I this location was basically just concrete. Well, it was just walls. It had nothing. So I had to do all the plumbing. I had to put grease traps in. I just a lot of, and then just getting the architectural work and everything else was really expensive. And then the actual golf courses. So I have 2 9-hole courses in there because I wanted to have 4, but the space that I was able to get only had 2. So each course, not each course, but each hole cost me almost $30,000 bucks. So I have 18 holes there. That's over $500,000. That's the cheap part. The kitchen and the build out of the rest was way more expensive. But I was able to cheat because there's one other company that really does this on a big scale. And I was able to go to their locations and just basically watch and see how busy they are and how good they do and what the people thought of it. And, they're always sold out. They're always packed. So I know that it's a good concept. You just got to be in a good area. So, I'm pretty sure it's going to do well. I've only been open 2 weeks now. We have, we keep growing every single day, every single week. So it looks promising, but I want to have 4 months of data before I decide to open somewhere else.
Nice. I think that's fantastic. I can barely wait to visit it myself. So bring it up to Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like something. All right. So
I've actually had a lot of businesses in Chicago. Chicago is a place I've had a ton of businesses.
Good. When you come up and visit, you got to let me know.
I will.
We can get together there. All right. So I have a question from Donna. Wait a minute. Excuse me. This is a combination from Brenda and Derek. Brenda wanted to find out, how do you determine which investments have the greatest potential if you're looking for long-term success and profitability? Derek put a little bit of a spin on that, and he said, hey, if I've got 100K just for investing, how or who would you invest it to double it safely? So it must be for the kids.
Yeah. So by far, hands down, there's no question that buying existing businesses that are profitable are by far the best return you can have on your money. So I have a special way I start businesses, although it's super risky, and I would definitely suggest other people not start businesses unless they really, really know something crazy. But most people that I know make most of their money by just buying other businesses. So the way you're safe is you buy businesses that have been around for a long time, and you review their financials, you review their P&Ls, and you see how much money they're making, and it's pretty safe. If you know they've been making this much money for 10 years plus, there's no reason why it should change all of a sudden, unless it's some crazy industry that something is weird happening. But you could use your $100,000 and buy $1 million business and make a ton of money on it. So that would be the best return by far. There's all kinds of ways to finance a business, but if you just want to go the easy traditional way without being super creative, you can get an SBA loan and they will fund 90% of the business. If it's a good profitable business, they'll fund 90%. And then you can use your 100,000 to buy a $1 million business that's probably making 400,000 a year. So on 100,000, you can make 400,000 a year. Maybe half of that or a little bit more than half of that, you're paying your debt off, but you can still make over 200,000 a year. So you're doubling your money in the first year.
Wow. And it's interesting to me that from your experiences, businesses that do more money than real estate.
It's not even close. It's not even close. Like business, I love real estate. Like
I do too.
I love business. I love business and I love real estate. I would never stop one and do the other. I would always do both. Okay. But what I would say is that someone's asking me, what business would you stay away from? I mean, I would only really stay away from businesses that are like illegal or like really heavily cash-based businesses are a little bit dangerous for a few reasons. But like for me, unless it's illegal or it's like a ton of cash involved in the business, I wouldn't for myself wouldn't necessarily stay away from anything. Now, I would stay away from businesses that I don't know a whole lot about or I'm not super familiar with. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't do it. What does that mean? It means that I need to find a partner that knows those businesses well. I would never do those businesses without that partner. But if I find a partner that's really good at that stuff, then there's really no businesses that I wouldn't do that are legal.
Okay, so this is interesting because Donna and Travis B kind of asked a similar question a little bit on that about JVing or partnering. How do you like to best be approached? Because most people know you're pretty wealthy. Mm-hmm. And, how do you like to be approached in order to have a relationship started? Besides, of course, going to the trouble of starting a podcast just to have you on.
Yeah, no, so this
that was a joke. You're supposed to laugh. I suck at jokes. Okay, never mind. How do you like to be approached?
I didn't know if you wanted me to laugh at you or not, though. So that's why.
Oh, hey. Yes.
I can laugh at you?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna laughing at you more than. All right. So now I forgot the.
Well, how do you like to be approached? You got a lot of.
Approach. Okay. So this is not just me, but this is like everybody. So everyone talks about how you should always try to give people value, like not expecting anything in return, right? So that's the way that I get into like really close with people that I want to get really close with. Like I will literally go out of my way to figure out anything I can do to to help somebody. And by the way, this is the one part that everybody fucks up on, right? Or F's up on, F-E up, son. All right. No, this is the part. So people, I'm always seeing this, and it's good in a way, but to me, it's shit, right? So what I see is people always go to people like, how can I bring you value? How can I bring you value? I want to help you. I want to help you. I hate when people ask me that. I hate it. It's so unoriginal and so stupid that I know they mean well. So like I still respect them and like them because I know they mean well. But don't do that. It's not creative. It's stupid. Instead of asking people what you can do to bring them value, figure it out and just do it. Figure out and just do it. I never ask somebody ever, what can I do to bring you value? It's just like you need to be smart enough, have enough common sense, and be creative enough to figure it out and just do it. Like I know what you want, right? I know what everybody else wants, and I'm just gonna go out and do it. That's it. I'm not gonna ask. I'm just gonna do it. Yep. And by doing that, it makes me really respect somebody more and really want to help them in return so much more. Like whatever you do for me, I want to do double back for you. You know what I mean? So like,
isn't that the truth?
But if you're asking me all the time, what can I do? I know you mean well, but it's like now it's annoying because now I got to figure out, okay, what can you do? Like if you could just do it, great. Like every person that works for me or partners with me, they don't ask me all the time, what can I do? What can I do? They just know what they need to do. Like the people that always have to ask all the time, they're the ones that end up not working out that well because it's like, I don't like micromanaging people. I don't like having to think for you. I want everyone to think for themselves and be able to come up with something cool.
Yeah. They're not as much of a self-starter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Wes has a question and he says, what do you do to vet new possible partners? What steps do you take to verify that they would be good to work with?
Yeah, so the people that I work with and I partner with are people that showed me that they're intelligent, that are good at stuff that I'm not good at. And by the way, that's pretty easy. I'm not good at most stuff. So, but yeah, you just got to
That's
be
why I
good.
love you. You're like me. You don't mind putting, mud on your face.
It is,
Here's who I am.
it is what it is. I mean, you're gonna figure it out if I don't tell you, so I might as well tell you that way. But literally, there's certain things I'm really good at, but most stuff I'm not. So I've tried to find people that are good at the stuff I'm not good at. One of the most important things is to find someone that you really connect with and that you feel is going to be a good partner. I want someone that's super trustworthy, someone that I know is going to have my back, someone that has the same values as me, and those are the most important things. And then usually, I'll look at other stuff that they've done and be like, oh, that's pretty cool, or I could talk to someone and realize, how intelligent they are, or how good we'll get along together, stuff like that. So that's some of the most important stuff. And then how knowledgeable they are in that subject, right? I have people that come to me and want to partner on something, but they have no idea about they have no idea about the business that they want to partner me on. I'm like, I can't figure all that stuff out for you. There's certain things that I could do, but that takes a lot of time. So stuff that's going to take a whole lot of my time is something that I'm not going to want to do. So like if they could save me a lot of the time, then that would be something. So like even, obviously I have me and Pace are partners in buying properties from a lot of people all over the country in sub 2. And we always ask the person, well, what exit strategy do you want to use when we buy this property for you? And people will say, I want to turn this into a sober living home, or I want to turn this into all these types of really cool exit strategies. But then I'm like, all right, cool. Well, you're going to manage it. What do you know about it? How many have you done? I'm thinking they're going to tell me, oh, I've done 3. They do incredible. They're like, oh, I know nothing about it. I don't know who's going to manage it. I'm like, well, then how could that be your exit strategy? You know what I mean? So like, I want someone that like comes to me and like intelligently understands how to do what they want to do and has a really good plan of action and what they are going to be good for, what I'm going to be good for, and how we can work together good and have that all figured out ahead of time and know about the business. So, I do these masterminds. This is my 4th year. I started in 2020. 2023 is my 4th year. So I love partnering with people that have been to them because I know they understand everything. So people that understand nothing, it's a little bit tougher sometimes. But it just depends. I partner with a lot of people in sub 2 on real estate, even before I partner with Pace and we're doing it. There's a lot of people I own real estate with all over the country. But they were able to do the stuff that I wasn't able to do. Like I could come up with the money, I could underwrite it, I could figure out a lot of that type of stuff. But they're the ones that are able to manage it. They're the ones that maybe found the deal or different things like that. So we just we both have different things we can do.
Great. Okay, I have a question from Munif. He wants to know, why don't you effing call him? He says that he's the first one on the call.
Munif's so
important days, and that you never ever effing call him back.
Munif's the biggest effing liar that there is. Ask Love who calls who more. Ask him who calls who more. I literally have called Munif double the amount of times that he's effing called me in the last few months. But we do talk. I actually learn a lot from Munif. Munif is really cool. Munif, Chai, Prakash, they have taught me a lot of stuff. Like they're really, really good at raps. And that's one of the exit strategies I've started using a lot lately for creative deals. And I learned a lot from them on raps. So now I like to pick their brain. But no, I mean, he calls me and he'll be like, oh, I need to figure out this strategy. And I'll tell him something like, oh, shit, I can't believe you figured that out. Like, why didn't I figure that out? And then I'll ask him a question about something and he'll know it. I'm like, oh, shit, so it's really cool.
That's really
cool. Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad we got that straightened out.
Love, I'd rather hang around Love. She's cuter, but whatever,
That's funny. Okay, so on a little serious note, Alex has a situation. He says, considering how many businesses you own, how do you handle it when you have a key person, like a manager, that quits? Because, he happened to unfortunately have 3 in one business that quit, that resigned within a month, and he's trying to figure, whoa, how would somebody like Abraham handle something like that?
Yeah, so I would need to know what the business is and how key they were and why they quit. But if you've had 3 key managers quit in a short period of time, then I would be like, wait a second. Am I doing something that I need to change? Maybe you're not paying them enough. Maybe you're not like giving them enough praise. maybe, you know, they're working too much. I would look at the situation, but why they're quitting. Because if you have one quit, no big deal. Two, but once you start having it happen 3 times, like lately, then there's something wrong with the process probably, or there's something wrong, maybe not hiring the right people to begin with. But if I had a key manager quit, what I would do right away is have whoever the second in charge step in and take over until I found you know, a permanent replacement, unless that person is good enough to do it. But obviously, depending on the business, so I don't know the business, but like if it's a crucial business and it makes a lot of money and you need that person there, you might, as the owner, have to be there more and cover for that person until you find the right person. But again, I have to know the specifics about that particular business. But I would definitely make the second person in charge, you know, have more authority right away. And I would look at the hiring process that I've had in the past and figure out where did I go wrong. Because if you're hiring this many people, high level people, like lower level people quit all the time. It's kind of common. But like the high level people, they don't usually quit that often, especially not like 3 in a short period of time. So there's something that if I talk to him, we can go through different questions and figure out if there's something that just stands out that I could say, okay, this might be one of the reasons.
Alex, if you're on and you want to put on any information, a little more information, maybe we can pull it up a little later. Otherwise, I'll see if I can connect you guys, because Abraham is a doll. Okay, so Melissa Smith says, do you have any online businesses, or is everything brick and mortar? And how do you evaluate the two formats differently? Now, I gather you do have some online, because you were just talking about.
So when I first started my business, like when I was young, it was sports cars, and it was brick and mortar more. Like I did shows, and I actually had some sports car shops. But very quickly, it got into online. I sold more stuff online, and then really for like almost a decade, all I did was mostly online type businesses. But over the last 15 years or so, it's been mostly brick and mortar. But I do have a few like online type businesses that, like, I started a media company, so I do a lot of YouTube videos. But since I do so many YouTube videos, a lot of people like my videos, and I've had, you know, I have I have like 4 people in my office. That's all they do is film, edit, you know, and do you know, graphic design and all that stuff. So I've had a lot of people say, look, can I use your people and stuff like that? So I actually teamed up with a couple of the people that do this for me, and we're partners in this business now. And now we're doing, you know, all kinds of marketing and stuff for other people. So
for other people,
that's more online. So like, yeah, people need to make shorts or long content, you know, long form content, or edit or film, or really graphic design. We do thumbnails. Like I have like some of the best graphic designers, so we could do all kinds of cool stuff.
Well, here I am. I could use some of those services.
Yeah. Just hit me up after, and we'll definitely.
For a day.
Do you already have like a logo and graphic for the What the Effie? This is it right here, right?
This is it right here. Yep.
And that's cool. I like it. But like, yeah, if you want to do like anything even more, I could send you some samples of different things that they come up with. Or
all right. Okay.
I like your intro. I like your intro, by the way. That was cool.
Oh, you mean the countdown or the intro?
Because the countdown with all the pictures and all the stuff.
Yeah. Okay. You'll love the extra then.
What was extra too?
Yeah, there's an extra too.
Now no one's gonna leave. They're gonna stay till the end. They gotta see it.
Yeah, they gotta see it.
Hard to mention it now.
All right. So Mike Keys wants to know, how much money are you spending on your YouTube channel each month? And I think I should know that too, because I'm going to be chasing.
So I spend way more than anybody should spend.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, someone like Pace Morby or you know, Jamil or someone like that, you know, maybe probably spend more. But they have like a big following. They're making a ton of money off it. I'm not making a whole lot of money off it now. I'm making like bullshit money. I'm just doing it to grow. And I just have a lot of, you know, I just look at like as a future investment. But I have 4 people full time that, let's say on average, are making close to $1,000 a week. So that's 16,000 a month right there. And then I'm traveling some with them, and I'm buying a lot of equipment all the time. So I'm spending over 20-some thousand a month on it. Wow. But I'm actually now I started like, you know, having other people buy, you know, and use some of our services. So we're starting to get the money back. But eventually it will, you know, once that's in the full bit, I have like 4 or 5, you know, customers or clients right now. I just started it over the last month, but pretty soon it'll be its own like generating income type thing, and then my YouTube won't cost that much because they'll just use the extra time. But yeah, up until now, it's been about 20,000 a month.
Wow, and that's so cool that you can look at it as an investment for the future, and at the same time still figure out how to make it a business for the people involved and for yourself.
So what's really cool about the YouTube is that, by the way, the reason why I started the YouTube channel is because Pace was bugging me forever to start a YouTube, which I'm assuming that's one of the reasons why you did yours.
Yeah, I give up. Like, wait, I can't do this. It's different than wait, which.
Yeah, so Pace was bugging everybody to start their own social media and YouTube.
Yes, I am. Oh, wait, I almost got it.
Oh, inside the thing?
That's as close as I can get. But it's the little devil Pace. Start a podcast. Start a podcast.
So
yeah.
So I started. So
if it wasn't for my son and Josh, I'd be in big trouble.
Yeah. But the great thing about starting the YouTube and all this other social media is that it's hard to tell exactly how much money you're actually making on it, because besides like the money that YouTube pays me and stuff like that, which is like bullshit money right now, but a lot of people see it and then reach out and then will sell me properties or sell me businesses or partner with me on different things. Or I've actually had a few dozen people that have come to some of my masterminds that I didn't even know who they were, and I was like, how did you find me? This and that. They're like, oh, I went onto a YouTube video and I saw that and it was really cool. I want to learn more about it. And so like, I don't even know how much money it really generates, because most of the money is like stuff is hard to figure out, because it's like people giving me deals and that I never would have known me. But I know over time it'll I'm not gonna it'll be, I'm thinking it's gonna be a good investment. Like, you could start a YouTube channel and spend no money, do everything yourself. That's what most people do. That's what you should do. But once you get to a certain level, then you want to spend, like Mr. Beast spends like $5 million a YouTube video. So you heard of Mr. Beast?
Yes, but he doesn't sound. I don't know. Is that smart? Because I'm thinking.
No, somebody just offered. He was just offered $1 billion for his channel and his businesses. He turned it down. So spending $5 million a video, he makes way more than $5 million a video. Like his commercials, if you wanted to get onto do like a little like 20-second commercial like on one of his videos, it costs way more than a Super Bowl commercial, which is like the most expensive commercial. So he just could make tons of money doing all kinds of stuff.
Well, I don't think that the audience would have that kind of tolerance for this face, but it doesn't matter. I'm happy with whatever. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy.
I'm happy I'm here with you.
All right. Mary says from New York, have you ever lost money on a deal or investors' money? If so, what was it for? How did you deal with it? And what was the lesson learned?
So I've lost money on tons of different things I've done. But here's the key, okay? The key is I've lost money on more stuff than I've made money on, but it's just like poker. I've lost very small amounts of money on the deals that I lost money on, and the deals that I made money on, I made a shit ton, right? So basically, you could have the best hand in poker 2 out of 10 times and take everybody's money. So that's kind of the way I approach it. Like when I don't have a good hand, or I don't have a good business, or I don't have a good real estate deal, whatever it is, I lose the minimum. And then when I have a good one, I just make as much effing money as I can, right? So effing money as I can, right? So
effing's good.
Yeah.
It's effing good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I do it. Now, as far as losing other people's investors' money, I've never lost money for an investor, because especially if it's like they're loaning me money at like an interest rate. Like I've never ever lost money for an investor, because even if something went bad and it went wrong, I would pay them. Like I just feel so bad, and you're only as good as like your worst deal and basically something that everyone's gonna know. Like if you screwed somebody, because to me it's almost like screwing someone in a way. If you like, everyone's gonna know about it, and no one's ever gonna do a deal with you. So I would make sure whatever I had to do, I would make sure nobody ever lost money. Now, I have partnered with people that we've taken like risks together on that I wasn't paying interest on, but like we were doing deals together and we owned the business together. I have had people lose money on some deals like that. It wasn't significant money, but again, there was a risk reward. If everything went well, we could have made a lot. If everything didn't go well, we're going to lose a little bit. But no one's ever lost money that has ever lent me money. That I think
bears repeating.
Yeah.
for everyone out there, because I'm a lender too.
Hmm.
So I keep saying it to them, that don't tell me that things got rough and it's just business. You make it right. If you're going to borrow money, always make it right.
And I can even take this a step further. And we need to do a Zoom or a YouTube just about lending money, because there's so many things that I've heard, especially in Sub 2 lately, where people have just gotten screwed and lost a lot of money. They're just not doing it right. I could really help people really on the loan, no matter what side you're on, whether you're loaning or like really help everybody to where everyone knows what they're doing. But more even than not having people ever lose money on a deal that I've done with them, that I'm borrowing money at interest, I always pay people before it's due. Like, I don't even wait till the day it's due, which is still fine. Like, waiting till the day it's due is fine. I hate even like a day late. It just looks bad. A few days late is horrible. But I make sure people get paid, at least a day ahead of time, if not a week or more ahead of time. And then people are like, holy shit, like, this is a great person to lend to, because I feel super secure. Not only are they on time, like, they're paying me before I even have to ask them or before it's due. So I have a few people I loan to that always do that. They always pay me a few days ahead of time. And when they ask me, I mean, they're the first person I'll loan money to. But so that's really important.
Under promise and over deliver.
Under promise and over deliver.
Yep.
And then if somebody does come into a situation where they just don't have the money to pay you back and they owe you money, because that happens to people that I loan money to. The most important thing is to not avoid you, to not like go radio silent, not any of this stuff. The most important thing is, look, I owe you $1,000 a month. I don't have $1,000. I have $50. Can I give you $50 now? $50, as much as I can. And I'll try to get to 100. But what that shows the person's trying and cares, right? Yep. So like, I don't care how much you owe someone. If you give them any amount, no matter how small it is, and you reach out to them and they don't have to reach out to you asking about it, and then you try to negotiate and work a deal with them, that means a whole lot too. So like, even if somebody can't afford to pay me what they're supposed to and something went bad, if I see that they care and that they're trying and they give me something, right? And because I know that $50 that they're giving me might not mean much to me, but I know that's a lot to them,
Exactly.
So that makes a big difference as well. But like, the worst thing is where they just don't answer your calls or texts and avoid you, and then I just foreclose on their property. Like, I'll just take the property, or if I have other collateral, I'll just sell it and get my money or whatever. But those people are just they're just total assholes. Like, why would you ever want to ever deal with them? And not only that, anytime you talk to someone, you're like, oh, how is your deals going? With people, have they had any bad deals? Who were they? What happened? No one's ever gonna like want to do deals with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I totally agree. Alejandro wants to know what are the best websites to search for motivated business owners and the best way to find signs of distress in businesses.
Yeah, so there's a few different sites that have businesses for sale on it. Probably the most common, the most one that everybody knows about that uses the most is called bizbuysell.com. It's BIZBUYSELL. Now there's a ton of shit out there.
You know what to do? Drop a link in the chat.
Yeah.
To that, so everyone can pick it up, because I can't do everything,
Yeah, I'm trying to see how I write it here.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to. Let the audience, please help.
So yeah, bizbuysell.com. So you can go on there and you can find businesses by city, by state, by industry, by how much money they make, if they own real estate, if they don't own real estate, if they'll do owner finance. Anyway, that's where I would start. However, I buy 70+% of my businesses off market. So off market is probably the best way to do it. But
so how do you find them?
There's a whole lot of different ways we do it off market. But if you're going to go on market, then you're going to go to those different websites like the Biz Buy Sells and stuff. But I mean, to find a motivated seller is you basically got to find people that have different characteristics, right? So you want to find probably the best thing is in the age group of someone that's about to retire, because if someone's in the age group where they're going to retire, like baby boomers and stuff, they don't really have a choice. Like their choices are to sell the business, shut it down, or to keep running it. Now they don't want to keep running it because they're ready to retire. So they're very motivated usually. people that have health issues, people that have deaths in the family, people that are moving out of town, people that are going through divorce. Divorce is a big one. I've actually bought a lot of businesses from people going through divorce. There's so many reasons why that's good, but a lot of times people get burnt out. A lot of times people have better opportunities. So you gotta find those people. Another good way to find a motivated.
Hold on a second, because I can imagine right away finding divorcees wouldn't be too difficult if you have a friend or a lawyer who's a divorce attorney. But what about retirees? I mean, do you go to AARP or something?
Yeah. When you look on market businesses, you can kind of figure out. They'll tell you why they're retiring, although most of the time it's not necessarily true. But they will, if they say they're about to retire, so you can search by people that are selling just because they want to retire. And then sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not true, but you could kind of do your due diligence to figure it out. But there's certain industries that people that own those, own stuff in those industries are more people that are in that retirement age. There's certain industries that people don't do anymore, so some of those are really good. I bought businesses in those types of industries that they're just super unsexy industries that most people don't want, but most people that own them are 70 plus years old or whatever, 80 years old, and they just need to retire. But those are some of the best ways to find it. As far as off market deals, I do a lot of different things, and there's even more things that you could do. But my biggest success as far as finding off market businesses, which is mostly what I buy, they come from a letter campaign I do. I send lots of letters out, and I have a whole system of how I do that. But my letters are different than anybody's letters. They don't look like a normal letter. My letters look like they're unique, put it like that. I have 40 or 50 different things I do to letters that nobody else does. Yep. And everybody opens my letters. Everybody calls me. Even if they don't want to sell me the business, they'll call me and talk about how cool the letter was. But I mean, you were at the mastermind, so you saw some.
Yes, I saw them. They were pretty.
Nobody in this world does anything like that. I created this. This is my my invention. All these different things.
Right, and but I can't remember quite how you decided who to send them to.
Yeah. So what I would do is, there's a couple of sites that you could find all these different businesses on, but most of them cost money. So what I do is I will figure out what industries I want to get into, and then I will figure out, on top of what industries, I'll figure out what areas I want to do in, right? So I'll do Google searches for industries and then locations, and then figure out how many there are. I'll have someone that works in my office or a VA or someone get an Excel spreadsheet and put in every single business owner, every single business, the person's name, the address, and we'll send them letters. And then we do LinkedIn campaigns. If you have a LinkedIn Navigator, that's a really, really good way to target a lot of different businesses, different Facebook groups, cold calling. You can stop by different businesses, depending on what types of businesses that you're trying to buy. But there's lots of different ways to do it off market. And
got it. Well, there you go, Alejandro. I think that he answered that pretty fully, but the real answer is go to his mastermind. Okay. Yeah. And I have not said this yet, and I know I was supposed to. Guys, I need subscribers, and I don't have enough money to pay you. So can you just hit the freaking button, subscribe and like and whatever else you're supposed to do, please? But if you don't, I don't care. Whatever.
You better just everybody in here better effie subscribe right now. What are you doing? It's crazy. If you don't effie subscribe right now, what are you doing? I was one of your first subscribers.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were, and you taught me a lot about it too. I mean, I'm not on the program yet, but
it costs nothing. It costs nothing for anyone to subscribe. The only reason why, if you're in here and you're not subscribed to Effie, then you're hating on Effie. And I know nobody hates on Effie. So if you're in here, I know you're a subscriber. But there's no reason not to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah. I appreciate that little plug. I also could use a little plug or help on one other topic. It might be a little bit early, but I'd hit the Effie button. Sorry. I would like to ask you who you might suggest that I could invite as my next guest. Because I'm thinking that besides, asking any effing question I feel like it and having effing fun, it might be good to be guided by the the guests that's on previously. So can you make some
Yeah.
suggestions and then help me get them?
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
no,
Well,
I don't
definitely.
have a vote yet.
This is the thing. This is the thing, Effie. I don't even think I need to help you get them. I think they'll want to come on if you ask them. But obviously, I'll
So if
help you.
they say no, I say I'm going to tell Abraham on you.
Yeah, I love it. So, I mean, I've listened to lots of interviews with lots of people, and there's so many great people. Like even for talking about just sub 2 people for now. Like, I love having conversations with Munif, even though he doesn't call me much. I mean, Vince Lanza is a great person to do to have on an interview. I love talking to Eddie Charger and Keston Glass. Keston. JJ talks like I love talking with JJ. There's just endless amounts of people, but I'm sure that anyone that you ask will be more than happy to come on because it's good for everybody.
Oh! Sorry. Do you see what's on the board? Angie, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, the only thing is, you're supposed to choose people that don't look as good as you. That wasn't the case with Abraham. Angie's a bomb. If I put her in Angie, it's a go. It's a go.
Yeah. You'll be surprised, like how many people. You know who my favorite person in sub 2 is?
Pace?
No, even higher than Pace.
Even higher than Pace? Tanisha.
I love Tanisha.
Yeah, Tanisha.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't understand what
I'm asking you now here where you can't turn me down. What do you? I can't say. I hate looking at myself because I can't get this coordination stuff. Tanisha, honey.
Nobody knows how much Tanisha does for sub 2. That's why people don't understand. Like without her, like
we have an idea, and if you have even that much of an idea, you know it.
Yeah. She literally like makes everything organized to where we could find anything we need and get to. Like without her, we wouldn't be able to go into the vault and find anything. Like it would be impossible. Like
totally.
And how much does that vault help everyone? Probably more than anything else.
A lot. An awful
lot. She stays like under the radar, so people don't even know it.
Yeah, well, that's going to change. Paces put out the word. For sure. Absolutely. So we're almost at time. Do you have any words of advice, or I don't know? Would you like to? Shall we try to take a question from the audience? I noticed that you did that on your last live. Do we have any questions from the audience? No questions? Did they all leave? They're like, we're done. Do you have a certain cash flow? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So do I have certain cash flow? All right. So I won't buy businesses that like for the most part make less than 6 figures a year in profit. So you really that's basically what I look for. So
figures in profit? Okay.
There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons why, but yeah, if you're not making at least 100,000 in profit, it's not right. Most people actually don't even target businesses that make less than 200,000 a year in profit. I'm like one of the ones that will actually go less than most people, but 120,000, 150,000 or more is where it starts getting more interesting. But if you buy a business that's making less than 100,000 a year, that business doesn't make enough money to pay for good managers, good employees, all these different things. And what usually happens is most of those types of businesses, the owner is running a lot of it. And I won't buy businesses that the owner is crucial part of the business. So if you're buying a smaller business, you're actually going to end up, after you buy it, basically running the business. And what are you doing? You're not really buying a cash flowing business. You're buying like a job, So I would stay away from stuff that you might have to run yourself. And if it's not making enough money, you're buying a job for the most part. So that would be something that you should definitely stay away from. Now, is it wrong to buy a job? It's not necessarily wrong, but I mean, the reason why you're buying a business is because you don't want to have a job. I mean, even though you're your own boss. So, but if it's an industry that you really, really love and you're gonna, it makes enough money to where you're happy working it all the time and having that job that's making, multiple 6 figures or whatever it is, then it's okay. But you can't grow. You can't like have tons of. So I have dozens and dozens of businesses right now, and if I worked in any of them, then that would be the only business I could have.
That's a very good point. I want to know if there's a deeper meaning to the flip-flops. Me too. But someone said, don't talk about the flip-flops. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, what the effie? Yeah, what's the meaning?
No, so flip-flops, I do a lot of martial arts, and with the martial arts, like you can't walk on the mats with shoes on. So everybody that does martial arts for the most part wears like flip flops and stuff when you're at the gym, and it just became really comfortable and easy on off. So I was wearing flip flops a lot, and I bought a couple businesses, and I took pictures with the owners giving me keys, and then I also bought a few homes where I was in flip flops, and I had a couple people message me, I can't believe you're wearing flip flops. Like, this is an important moment. You bought this business and the picture doesn't look professional. I was like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. Whatever. And then I had like more people like say, oh my God, I can't believe you bought flip flops. That's so crazy. And then it just became like a big thing, like where people kind of knew me for it. And like, I kind of like it because it's comfortable. And people are like, oh, that's so cool. You're the only one that does that, whatever. So I was like, all right. And I just, because it's comfortable and I've had like so many people now that know me for flip flops, I just keep wearing flip flops. But I've actually had a few, this is crazy, right? Because I didn't even know this, but I've had a few people email me and message me and be like, man, you really, made my day, or, you really inspired me. And I'm like, why? Because you wear flip flops. I'm like, how the hell does that inspire you? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Like, no, I have this disease. I don't even know, I forget what they're called, but we can't wear shoes. We have to wear flip flops. And, I always felt weird about doing that. But now that I see that you're doing that all the time, you don't have to, like, it just made me feel a lot better. And stuff like that. So like I've had like that type of stuff over the years. So it's just at this point, that's just my thing. But and it's comfortable.
Wow, good. I'm glad that was asked because I wanted to know, but I was almost shamed not to know.
It's more because I was just lazy. I didn't want to put socks and shoes on, and I got caught a few times like in cool pictures, and then people mentioned it, and then a couple of people were like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that," and then I had more people say, "Oh, that's cool," and then I was like, "All right, whatever." So I just kept doing it.
Very cool. Well, I want to say thank you very much.
Yeah.
I have so much more I personally would like to ask, but I had a lot of people saying, hey, you're asking them questions here. Ask this one, ask that one. So I'm glad I did. But maybe later when I actually have a real, like, I know I have an audience and I love you guys very much. But when I have like, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 subscribers or something.
That'll be very soon. That's going to be very, how many do you have right now?
I don't really know because I'm not looking at that point, but the last time I think I had 450. So
you'll be at 1,000. You'll be at 1,000 before I know it. So I just started my YouTube chat. By the way, there's a lot of people in the comments saying BJJ. They're not talking about blowjobs. They're talking about Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So everyone in jiu-jitsu wears slippers. So just so you know, it's whatever. But no, I mean, I started my YouTube channel like 8 months ago, literally 8 months ago, and I got like 1,000 subscribers in the first few days just because I had a few people in sub 2 be like, oh, join Abraham's, So I had, and then I got to 1,000 pretty fast, and then just posting consistent content, posting every single week, stuff, so people know to look at your stuff. You'll just keep growing.
Great. Well, I want to say thank you, guys. Hit the subscribe, and I will have you back when I have way more, and it can help you. Well, I don't need to help you. You need to the other way around. But that's it, Abraham. You're in my life.
I'll see you in June in person.
You bet. Okay, I think this is time where we sign off and
I want to see the outro. I've been waiting for the outro the whole time.
Okay, yeah, but I think it does knock us off, I believe. But doesn't mean you have to leave because you can tell me how bad I was or whatever happened after. I don't know.
You were effing incredible. You were effing incredible.
I'm not really sure I know how to end the broadcast. Do I press end broadcast or does the outro just come on?
Okay.